Hurry up! 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! It's 2025! Happy New Year! It's a new year and a new you. I hope you had a nice holiday, but now it is time to focus and hit the books. Wait, Eric? Huh? Oh, this just 5 minutes?
No.
But
Stop.
get over here right now!
Okay.
Now, because it's 2025, today I will share 25 tips to improve your English speaking, pronunciation, vocabulary, and much more. Wants to sound like a robot. Huh? Wait. Mom. And for tip number 1, we need to say goodbye to the dictionary. In conversation, when we forget or don't know a word, too many people freeze or immediately start looking up words. Because that's what we did at school. But this habit actually makes your fluency a lot worse. So the best thing to do is to explain the meaning of the word that you're looking for. It's a person, and I think they protect a castle. You can see them at Buckingham Palace. Oh, you mean guard? Yes, that's it. By describing the word, you're practicing other vocabulary and you're giving the other person a chance to help you, like it's a game. And this keeps the conversation flowing and makes you more fluent. The conversation is like a journey, and the words help us move from A to B. So, here are some phrases to help you navigate any situation. How do you say this place where there's lots of fish, coral, and there's a huge one? What's another word for colourful? Vibrant. And then what's the opposite of vibrant? Pale? Wait, what does fictitious mean? Also, if you want the other person to give you a super simple explanation, you can use the phrase, "Can you explain it like I'm 5?" This is a great one. Huh? Could you repeat that? Sorry? Sorry, what'd you say? Oh. Sorry. If you can master these phrases, then your conversations will flow a lot more smoothly. Many people can speak in a second language, but very few can react naturally. You need to show interest in the other person if you want to have good relationships. Here are some reactions that I always use to connect with others. Right. Okay. I see. Oh, that's great. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Oh, congratulations. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry for your loss. Huh? No way. Seriously? Oh, I know what you mean. True. If you react often and appropriately, then more people will want to talk to you because you're showing you're a great listener. This next technique is one of the best because you can improve your vocabulary while checking your understanding. Let's say that... Polly! Oh, you came in too early. This is Polly the parrot, and the next technique is parrot. Okay, yeah, whatever. Yes, Polly, you can go now. Parroting is just repeating what somebody said after they've said it. Step 1. Listen to a native. The other day I was going to play some poker. With step 2, use this phrase. So let me get this straight. And then repeat what they said. But remember this. You do not have to copy every single part of the story exactly. just focus on the key points and try, if you can, to copy any new vocab you hear. Finally, get feedback. You got it? Oh, but I didn't go with my brother. I went with my dog. Oh, okay, I see. Huh? Wait, poker with your dog? And the great thing about parroting is even if you make small mistakes, the other person can clearly see you're trying really hard to listen. So don't forget to parrot. You know, sometimes you get a question and your brain just isn't working quickly. In this situation, many people think silently, but silence can make people feel uncomfortable. Taking your time is fine, but remember to use those thinking phrases to show that you're still thinking. Let me see. I haven't thought about that before. Oh, sorry, give me a moment. What's the word? How do I say it? What was it? Where was it? Who was it? If you use thinking phrases, often the other person will be very happy to wait, so you don't need to rush. Let's move on to pronunciation and emotion. No one wants to sound like a robot. Huh? Wait. Mom. Adding emotion to our voice in a second language can be surprisingly difficult. So here are some ways to make your voice sound more colourful. Try shadowing these with me. Yeah, I feel that way too. Yeah, I feel that way too. Yeah, I feel that way too. Don't worry, at first it feels weird, like you're acting, but as your pronunciation, grammar, and vocab improves, your emotions will come out more naturally. Now, fluency is great. You're getting better at saying things and thinking in English. But fluency can be a double-edged sword. A common problem for intermediate to advanced learners is that their brain is faster than their mouth. So he arrested the police and... No, he was arrested by the police and... Police... If you know what you want to say in your head, but when you speak you make lots of mistakes, then slow down, pause, and take your time. And often your mistakes will disappear. Alright, next. Have you ever experienced this before? So to solve the solution, problem. This is called stuttering. Stuttering is a common problem where you repeat the first sound of a word many times. This happens a lot with language learners, usually because they're, well, really nervous. But there is a solution. Resetting. Step 1. Notice you're stuttering. 2. Use a reset phrase. So, in other words. 3. Take a deep breath. And 4. Try again. The solution is the more you practice this, the easier and faster you can recover from your mistakes. Yeah. Just wait a minute. Next! Okay, I'm going to recommend something that I actually don't usually like. Flashcards. Long term, they can be great for increasing passive vocabulary. But as a study method, it's a bit boring. But there is a solution. Put them all around your house. I like to put them in places I go to often. By putting them here and there, you naturally review them as you're killing time waiting for something else. 2 birds, 1 stone. And it's even better for your memory if you can connect these flashcards to the place. Kitchen, living room, and the toilet. Oh yeah, it's But when reviewing flashcards, you have to be careful. ひらひら、ひりひり、ひそひそ、ほかほか、ほくほく、ほんのり. You know, some words are just way more difficult to study than others. Nouns are relatively easy to learn and use, but verbs can be really tough. For example, doubt and suspect are very similar verbs. And we have to learn not just the meanings, but when and where we use them. And you can't always do that with just one simple flashcard. So remember, you should spend more time learning some words than others. Everyone knows that having a private tutor is best for improving quickly, but not everyone has the money. So, here are 3 websites and apps that you can use to find a language exchange partner for free. Conversation Exchange. Hello Talk. You get off because you think this is your stop. This is Meetup. I think many people can agree that having one really close lifelong friend is better than having, 10 acquaintances. Well, language partners are actually the same. It can take a long time and lots of effort to find someone who you really have good chemistry with. But when you do, they're not just a language partner, they are a close friend. You become even more motivated because you want to talk to them. Take the time to find someone who's a great language partner, but also a wonderful friend. When learning vocabulary, many people like to copy examples from books, but the problem is, there's no connection. I'm sorry, Ken, but I don't care about your love troubles with Yumi! Copying examples at first is fine, but the next step is to use real stories and people from your life. This will help connect the word to your brain, and you'll be able to use it more easily in conversation.
It's me.
Another great way of improving your vocabulary is by reading books. Ugh, books? But books are boring. Ah, shut up! You should try graded readers. They're designed for learners with so many different genres and levels. I highly recommend the Oxford Reading Club, which I use when teaching all the time. It's £2 a month, but you get 750 books. Like, that's a steal. Okay, they might be useful, but I'm always looking up words in the dictionary and it takes such a long time. Yeah, that's a common problem. But there is an easy solution. When choosing any reading material, the most important thing is choosing the right level. Open the book to a random page and start reading. If you can understand roughly 80% of the words without using a dictionary, it's a good level. You don't have to look up words too often, and you can enjoy the story without stress. I don't have a chance to speak to foreigners, so how do I improve my speaking? This is a common question that I always get, and the answer is if you can't speak, then write. Writing is a great warm-up step between input and output. Many people write diaries, which is great for beginners. But if nothing special happens in your daily life, then there's not much to write about. For these times, Google search English writing prompts. Anything is fine, but I recommend the New York Times writing prompts. These are great because sometimes you answer an interesting question or describe a fascinating picture. But don't just stop at writing. To really master a word, we need to connect our brain with our mouth. Look at your piece of writing and highlight any key words that you looked up in the dictionary. Then write them on a separate piece of paper with the question. Finally, talk about it with someone using the paper as a guide. This gives you the chance to use the words in a real situation, And bonus tip, ask the question to the native first. This gives you a chance to hear native expressions before you answer. But you have to be careful of one thing. Ow. When speaking about a topic, do not just repeat what you wrote, because this won't help you make sentences naturally in your brain. This shouldn't be a script, it should be a warm-up and a guide. You only need to do two things. Talk about the key points of the story and use the key words. If you go off topic or forget a small detail, it's not important. If you can speak without memorizing a script, you'll be more flexible, be thinking more in English, and there's less pressure. One of the most frustrating things is when you're always making the same mistakes. This happens because you're not aware and you don't realize you're making mistakes. To fix this problem, you need to do a few things. First, ask a teacher, do I have any bad habits or common mistakes? If your teacher says, you often forget articles like and the, you write, use articles before nouns. Finally, do some writing practice while you're looking at these instructions. Writing is great because you have plenty of time to think and avoid these mistakes. But if you want to completely erase these mistakes, there's one more step. But first, you need a webcam and sticky notes. Remember your instructions? Copy one or two onto a sticky note, but just use one or two words. After that, stick it next to or under your webcam. Now, when you chat, every time you look at the webcam, you can try to speak while avoiding these mistakes. Slow down. We are almost there. Why don't we have a quick tea break or maybe grab a snack, and then when you're ready, let's have a look at the top 5 tips for 2025. In school, we have so many subjects, but languages are one of the worst to learn in a classroom. Don't get me wrong, you can learn a lot in lessons, but language learning comes from talking and listening to real people, and copying examples of great speakers. Seriously, it's so important to go outside the classroom and practice your language, because often these books, they're just not enough. Also, there are so many more fun ways of studying language. Because studying can get boring very quickly, it's important to change your study habits from time to time. 1, because different practice helps different skills, and 2, doing the same thing equals boring, and boring equals no motivation. As they say, variety is the spice of life. So, here are the methods that I use to teach English and self-study Japanese. Show and tell. Writing prompts. Summarize a story. Questions. Memories. Many people think that English is the key to having good conversations, and yes, it is a big part, but there are also other things to think about. Human things. Things such as facial expressions, eye contact, cultural knowledge, and chemistry. When we're so focused on the language, it's very easy to forget that things like bad body language and not making eye contact can leave a bad impression. So if you want to have good conversations, do not forget about non-verbal communication too. Sometimes when we're focused for too long and stressed, our memory and concentration gets worse. That's why we need a change of pace. Play a game, go for a walk, have some chocolate. And when you come back, sometimes you'll find that your memory is even better than before. What was I doing again? Sometimes. one last thing. There are so many people who are obsessed with finding the most efficient, the fastest, the best way to study languages. But it's not a race.
Sorry, could you please repeat?
I said it's not a race. Like, who are these people trying to beat? Mr. Takanami from the sales department? My final and most important tip for today is also the most simple. Just have fun. Work hard, play hard, and use your English to do something exciting, like connect with people or travel all around the world. And I promise you that if you enjoy the learning process, that all of your hard work and study until now will bear fruit. Happy New Year, welcome to 2025, and bye for now.